This video presentation would present to us the basic differences of quantitative and qualitative researches. This will be a basis for you so that you will know whether you really are doing quantitative research in my practical research too. Okay, here are some of the differences, and these are the basic differences of quanti and quali research. This may not be all of the differences of quanti and quali, but this would give us an overview on whether you are doing a qualitative research or a quantitative research. Let's start with the first one, the questions they answered. In qualitative research, it is most likely to provide answers to questions such as why and how. In quantitative research, it is most likely to provide answers to questions such as who, when, where, what, and how many. Let's have a little bit of an example. Let's say you are curious on ice creams because let's say you like both vanilla ice cream and chocolate flavored ice cream. In quantitative research, you are just going to ask how many people, let's say among 100 people, how many of them likes vanilla and how many of them likes the chocolate ice cream. But in qualitative research, you are going to ask not about what they like, but why they like vanilla and why they like chocolate ice cream. Let's have the next one, the type of data. So the type of data in qualitative and quantitative would be different. In qualitative research, it is expressed in words. It is used to understand concepts, thoughts, or experiences. But in quantitative data, it is expressed in numbers and graphs. Again, in qualitative, expressed in words. In quantitative, it is expressed in numbers and graphs. Let's go back to the example of ice cream, your favorite dessert. If you are going to conduct a qualitative research, since you asked the person or the people that you're going to interview, let's say for example, why you like vanilla ice cream and why you like chocolate ice cream, and of course they will explain to you and justify to you why they like vanilla or chocolate ice cream, and those justification, explanations, and opinions are in the form of words. But in quantitative research, you're not going to let them explain, give their opinions and such, but let's just say for example you just conducted a survey of whether they like vanilla or chocolate more, and those um, data that you gathered will be expressed in numbers. Let's say, for example, you have 64 people out of 100 who says that they like the vanilla ice cream more. And let's say out of the 100, there is 34 people who likes the chocolate ice cream. So quantitative is expressed in numbers and qualitative is expressed in words. Let's go to the third one, the data analysis. So in data analysis, the qualitative research is analyzed by summarizing, categorizing, and interpreting. One of the basic difference of this qualitative research and quantitative research is the amount of information that you gather. In qualitative, it's larger than quantitative because of course it's explanations, it's the opinions, it's their perspectives, it's their justifications. And among all those answers, in quantitative research, you are going to categorize them. Let's say most of them, or they like, let's say, vanilla ice cream, because their answers are categorized into three. First, they like the texture. They said they like the texture of the vanilla ice cream. Second is, let's say, they like the flavor itself, the flavor of the vanilla ice cream. And third, let's say you categorized one why they like it. It's because they have a memory that is related to vanilla ice cream. It may be something like the first dessert on their first date, or the reasons why they broke up, and also all those kind of things. So that is in qualitative research. But in quantitative research, you are going to analyze those data through math and statistical analysis. The very basic one is that to compare which one is greater than the other. Let's say, for example, between the two, vanilla and chocolate ice cream, 64 is always greater than 36. So out of 100, you said that most people, or let's say you have concluded that most people like vanilla ice cream because it says in the data and through your statistical analysis that 64 is greater than 36. Okay, let's go back. Let's do the number of respondents. In qualitative research, it requires few respondents. In quantitative research, it requires many respondents. First, in qualitative, there are a lot of authors who are known in the research world. Let's say, for example, Creswell and Morse. They will give you, based on the data collection method that you're going to use, let's say interview or focus group discussion, they're going to tell you how many respondents you're going to have. And it is most likely between 4 or 8 to 20 people. So that's fairly just small amount or just a small number of respondents. But in quantitative research, you're not going to base it on people or authors, but on mathematical equations and formula, or even softwares who does the mathematical formula and equations for you. For example, it's Slovin's formula has been used for a long time to gather what we call the sample size for quantitative research. And in quantitative research, the more people or the more respondent there will be, the more reliable is your research, since that sample size would represent the whole. So let's say, for example, in a classroom, you're going to ask how many people or how many people likes vanilla and chocolate ice cream. So in a class, there's a class of, let's say, 96. So if you are going to ask the 96 people inside that classroom is better and it would represent the whole of that classroom than, let's say, for example, just 50 of them. So that's it. The more numbers in quantitative, the more respondents in quantitative research, the more reliable it is. In qualitative research, there will be few respondents because it is what the authors is going to suggest to you. Okay, so let's proceed to the next one. Since we are going, we just talk about the interview, the survey, and such. Let's go to data collection methods. In qualitative, it is mostly through interviews and focus groups or focus group discussions. And you are going to ask open-ended questions verbally to the respondents, like, why do you like vanilla ice cream? Or why do you like chocolate ice cream? That is through interview. But you could also use a questionnaire with that same question, that open-ended question. When we say open-ended question, their answers is not fixed, or their answers is not limited. They can explain, justify, go on and on with all their explanations. But in quantitative research, most likely the data collection method that you're going to use are surveys and experiments. In surveys, it is a list of closed or multiple choice question that is distributed to a sample. Let's say, for example, you're just going to let them check to the question, which flavor do you like more, chocolate or vanilla? So you just got, the respondents were just going to check whether they like chocolate more or the vanilla more. Now, another is the through experiment. This is a situation in which variables are controlled and manipulated to establish a cause and effect relationship, especially those STEM students out there who are planning to do a scientific, pure experimental research. You are most likely trying to test your hypothesis. So let's say, for example, you have hypothesized that human urine would increase the growth of a plant and such other things. So let's say, for example, so trying to do an experiment, you're just going to test urine. So the soil would be the same on all the samples of plants. The type of plants would be the same. The amount of sunlight would be the same. The amount of water would be the same. The only different thing is that since you're experimenting related to urine, so you are going to test the cause and effect of more urine and less urine and um, other things related to that. We are going to talk more on that on the other presentations. Okay, so those are the basic differences of qualitative research and quantitative research. Just remember, qualitative is more on descriptive and words, but in quantitative, it is more on the numbers. So all the data that you're going to gather is express a number. Let's have a quick example on that. Let's say, for example, you ask the question, why do you love a person? That's qualitative research. But when you say, rate how much you love the person from 1 to 10, it would be a little bit insensitive, but that is a very example of quantitative research. Even the taste, you say, why do you like shawarma? But in quantitative research, from 5 to 3, with 5 as the, let's say, for example, I like it the best or I like it the most, and the other one, let's say 5 to 1, and the 1 would be I don't like it. So they're just going to rate it. So quantitative uses numbers, qualitative uses words. So I hope you learned at least a little bit on that.